Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Narcissistic Borderline Relationship Series. This is Chapter 8, The Ring of Desperation when Narcissistic Borderlines Triangulate. Mark and Lisa, what's going on with them? It's been a week. Hope you guys haven't forgot. We'll take a little refresher. I like to try to be faster and faster at this. I'll read just a couple comments, list a couple red flags, and we'll dive right into the story. So, let's see. Martin says, showing up at work or calling at work for anything other than an extremely urgent situation is something that would set me off. I know because I dealt with this in the past. You know, we're hypervigilant to these things, aren't we? And it's good. I agree. We're all a little different. You know, I don't think it's a rule. But when you've had a series, a pattern of relationships with people that manipulate, betray us, stuff like this, we're really on guard. We see these things fast. And these are things to take note of. Showing up at someone's work. Lisa showed up at Mark's work. She mentioned they've talked about it, they've mentioned it, but they didn't have plans. The first time is weird. You know, maybe if they had lunch often and he's like, yeah, come by anytime, you know. And then her reaction, right? She was so flustered she didn't know what to do. She went to the bathroom freaking out. Oh my God, I made a big mistake. What if he hates me? Total fear of abandonment. Ken says, LOL, showing up at your job. The ex before my last did that. Went to the main hospital to find out my location and just shows up with food. I was confused and surprised. Of course, I got in trouble from her because your reaction just wasn't perfect enough. Elena says, everything sounded so suspicious to me. Lots of red flags. One of them is when Lisa said, I think I'm pregnant. Well, it's either you are or you're not. Manipulation big time. Yeah, with the availability of tests these days, you would think you would go to the person with something more absolute. Especially, I mean, you know, look at the timing when she was in the bathroom. She came out with that. What else do I have here? Michael, that second night, the night they had their first date, and it was just amazing, right? They connected, and it was incredible. And then that second night, he finds out that she slept with someone else. You know, why is she still communicating with him? Why was he still on her phone? It was like 3-4 months later, the whole time they were dating, you know. Sorry for the late garbage man. And why even tell Mark at that point? It's like, I don't know. You can't buy the stalking thing, right? Have you guys ever heard that? I have. You start dating someone and they instantly tell you about a stalker they have. It turns out to be just an ex that maybe they never ended it with, truly leading them on, I think. Stuff like that. Interesting. Lisa running home to mom's house. Remember, Lisa's mom told Mark that she used to run home when she was dating Robert, the narcissistic ex. It's a pattern to take very big note of, and it's a pattern of abandonment. That's abandonment. You don't do that in relationships. It's one thing you take a mutual break, but an instant retreat back to your mom's house. Total control, right? I'm not going to be accountable. I'm just going to take control. And it worked, didn't it? Mark freaked out. Dad died. Felt like he lost Lisa. He found out she had sex with somebody else. You know. Okay, let's get into it. Scene 1, where did they leave off? Mark dropped a knee. Say, I need to ask you something, Lisa. Lisa said, what? He says, I don't have a ring, but I promise I'll get one. Will you marry me? Lisa, a tear, says, oh yes, and I don't care about a ring. I just care about being with you, Mark. Mark says, I'll never bring up Michael again, but you better never talk to him again. She goes, I don't, and I promise I won't. Mark and Lisa go out to celebrate. Mark instantly calls Tom. Remember Tom, his friend, the attorney? Tells him about the engagement. Tom says, congratulations, brother. Says, let me go out with you guys. Mark invites him out to go out with him. Jake calls. What are you doing, man? Mark says, oh, going out with Tom. Want to join us? He says, well, is Lisa going? Well, yeah, actually, we're engaged. I just asked her to marry me. She said yes. He said, oh, really? Congratulations, brother. Right on. I got plans though. I can't go out tonight, but let's celebrate another night. That's pretty fast though. Mark says, yeah, but you know how things go. I mean, you haven't really been around much to know kind of what's happened. What's happened? He says, oh. Mark says, well, I'll tell you. I'll tell you when we go out and celebrate. Oh, okay. Tom shows up as they're getting ready over at Mark and Lisa's. Mark can't find anything to wear. No clean clothes. Puts on a pair of old pants, comes out. Lisa chuckles. What are those, honey? You throw them back from the 90s or something? Are those skinny jeans? They all went out and had a lot of fun. Again, a lot of fun. Tom and Lisa seemed like best friends. You know, Mark was like, God, I don't even think I would even have to be here. That's how well they get along. And then he thinks about Jake and he gets angry at Jake. See, Jake's full of it, man. Jake didn't want to go out just because of Lisa. Why does he hate Lisa so much? One time they go out. One time. Even Lisa picked up on it. He felt that he didn't like her. That's not right. Next morning, Jake and Lisa, before going to work, sitting there talking. Lisa's in bed and says, I really want to be a nutritionist or maybe a dietitian, something like that. I just want to help people. Mark says, well, when you have our child, I hope that you'll be willing to take some time off for a little while. And she goes, what child? Oh, well, I don't know that for sure. That's why I said I think I'm pregnant. I mean, I feel like it. I've been sick every morning and stuff. Something's not right. I'm pretty sure I'm pregnant, but I don't know for sure. Mark says, well, let's take a test. That night, Lisa goes out with friends again. It just makes Mark uneasy. You know, ever since he found out that she was not honest and slept with somebody else. But she did end up telling the truth later. He can't help notice the house is dirty again. So the next day, Lisa takes a shower in the morning, gets ready, comes out, and there's Melinda, the maid. Remember they got rid of the maid? She's back. She's cleaning. Lisa says, what are you doing here? Like she doesn't know, like she broke in to clean the house. Melinda says, oh, Mark asked me to come back. Lisa goes to Mark and says, why? Why is Melinda here? Well, I just think that working, you keeping a full-time job and cleaning the whole house on your own is just too much for you. And she says, that's not okay. That wasn't the deal. You agreed to get rid of her. And Mark says, well, it wasn't to get rid of her. It was, you felt like you wanted to clean the house, maybe do more of your fair share of the job because the place was so expensive and stuff like that. And she goes, basically, I had no clean clothes to wear, is what he says. And she goes, you just can't handle her not being here. He goes, what the hell does that mean? She goes, well, I don't know. Maybe you need her more than you need me. Mark's like, what? I don't need Melinda. I need clean clothes, but I need you, honey. That's about where that conversation ended. The next day, Lisa comes home from work. Mark surprises her. Says, baby, surprise! I got us tickets to a place you've always wanted to go. And she's like, oh my God, Paris? And he goes, oh, shit. Vegas? And she's like, oh, I thought you meant Paris, but that's okay. He's like, no, I'm sorry. We can go to Paris. And she's like, oh, no, Vegas. I've never been to Vegas. I always want to go to Vegas. She goes, yeah, we're going to Vegas. And they're off. They go to Vegas. The first night, very first night, they go to the Venetian. They ride those little gondola rides that the little wedding couples, little married couples always ride. And he finalizes their engagement by proposing once more. But this time, with a ring. course, Lisa says again, yes. And also says again, you didn't need to give me a ring, but oh my God, it's huge. That's it. Chapter 8. What do you guys think? Tell me the red flags down below, and I'll read a couple of them next time. And what do you think's going to happen next? Huh? Let me know. Thanks for watching, guys. Ask questions, whatever. Love yourself first. See you next week.